Peter, no! Peter! 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 I've only had like one sexual partner in the last year, so I don't think I have to worry about that because I'm fairly certain that they're not sleeping with anyone else because it's my dog.
What did he say?
But Dad, please know that while I am grateful and highly aware of all that you've given this family, I still don't miss you. When you died, I felt like there was a hole. I missed something, but it wasn't you. It was the idea of what you could become. I missed being able to hope and wish that one day you turn a corner and see the world from my perspective. I missed the idea that one day you might help me fight for the things that matter. I missed my fantasy of you. Because when you died, it solidified the fact that you'll never be what you could have been, but only what you are. And what you are is a racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, Trump-loving, cis-straight white man. That is all you will ever be to me. And Dad, before you tell me to respect the dead, please remember that you disrespected and disregarded the lives and deaths of entire communities of people with your ideology. You told me to never back down, so I won't. You know for a fact that even against you, I'm not afraid to share my peace. You are everything I aspire not to be, and I refuse to stand up here and sing the praises of a man who was the paradigm of white supremacy. So I'll take your racist mindset, I'll take your money, and I'll take your advice. And I swear to God I will make this world a better place. Not at all because of you, but in exact opposition to you. Thank you.
If you're seeing this, you've reached Classical Music is Racist TikTok.
Oh, shit.
The fact that classical music, which is really the music of 18th century Western European cis-straight white male composers, is valued as the highest form of art music in America, is an example of white supremacy.
I first discovered drag at 13. Put on the wig and the makeup, and I'm someone completely different. I'm so pretty!
What do you think of taking those photos down? The constant reminder that I had to pretend I was a boy.
This is a place of love and support because we need that in this world.
This is me, and you better like it.
When I wouldn't hashtag trans rights and I wouldn't put my pronouns in, like, they kept on it pressuring. And finally, I just said, I'm not doing this, you know, like, I'm not, like, what are the pronouns? I didn't even know what people were talking about. I was just not clued in to the pronouns thing, which apparently that's been happening for like 7-8 years now, right? It's been happening.
But no one has ever explained its purpose. What I mean,
I didn't know.
You're just supposed to know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, you're a bigot.
Yeah. Well, then I put beep bop boop in my
beep bop boop.
Yeah.
So that, if I'm translating, that just means middle finger to you, right?
That just meant I can put anything I want in my bio. I can do whatever I want. That's all that was.
Because you thought it was a free country.
Yeah, because I thought it was. Yes.
Yeah, right.
But I was
just trying to follow your train of reasoning here.
Yeah, you can put anything in your bio that you want, and the whole, you know, meltdown that caused was just, I mean, and then, you know. In
a bad way, or are people impressed? I'm impressed.
No, I mean, it's cool now, but this was, mind you, this was like a year and a half ago. So this was like, I was speaking out about lockdowns, mass vaccinations, and pronouns way before anybody was even like saying a word about it. And so I was a little bit ahead. I'm sure if I would have done that now, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But because I was talking about this when nobody else was talking about it, especially nobody else in my industry, it was like Lucasfilm called me and they were like, okay, we're going to need you to get go on a Zoom call with 45 of our, you know, LGBTQ, you know, community, and we have to get you on the phone with these people. We need to have you watch all of these these movies about the trans lives, documentaries, and I was like, okay, I'll watch your documentaries and I'll talk to your people, but I'm not going to get on a Zoom call with 45 different people who can have their phones out videotaping me, and I feel like that's extremely abusive.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. I am Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
Special Agent Carter Sauce.
I'm Special Agent Daner Bobaner.
And tonight we are once again discussing identity politics and Western culture. It's going to be an interesting show. I'm going to say this, that a lot of the focus of this show, or this episode, I should say, is going to be focused on a lot of things to do with the LGBT community and things with drag queens and the like. And we'll be discussing some other things as well. But one of the biggest topics is just that. Sort of an overarching theme here is about Western values. That is what this episode is called, The War on Western Values. And it's something I wanted to speak of from the heart because as a young person that has grown up in a very interesting time, I'm seeing the decline of our culture, and I've seen some pretty crazy things. And I've seen some good things too. There's been a lot of positive things that have been happening as a result of these bad things. It's funny how that kind of works, where you have a lot of bad things happen for a good amount of time, and all of a sudden, a sort of counterculture starts coming in and offering alternatives.
Reaches the peak and down it goes.
Right.
Disney.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, go ahead and address the chat just real quick. We have Mr. Kyle from Return of the Living Fled, who is also part of the Patreon. He says, hello there, or hey, Caleb, Carter, and Dana. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. I've noticed for the past several years, I want to say at least 5 to 6 years, ever since Disney took over Lucasfilm, ever since they took over Marvel, and it's crazy because they own a lot of things.
Like, too many things.
Yeah.
To say the fucking least.
They have made a monopoly of themselves because they own, I believe, ESPN, 20th Century Fox they acquired recently. Well, not too recent, but recent enough. They've acquired Marvel. I mean, after the first Avengers film, that's when they acquired Marvel, because I don't remember because I know that Paramount is the one that owned the Marvel stuff initially, and then it went into the hands of Disney after they bought it out of them. The King of a Nation is in the house. He says, hey, Dark Ether Files, love y'all, good to see ya. Anyway, so ever since that happened, and really for me personally, when Disney took over Lucasfilm in 2012, and it wasn't just Disney taking over Lucasfilm, it was a whole bunch of aspects of the culture that I noticed that had shifted. And what happened was there was a turning of the tide where certain things that were frowned upon at a older time were now becoming more accepted, right? And I'm referring specifically to a lot of political things. See, because I remember back in the old YouTube days where we had Ben Shapiro going to these different college campuses, and we would always have these funny clips of him debating some weirdo talking about gender, non-binary things, and that type of stuff, right? And back then, we used to laugh at it. And I think the problem is that we laughed at it thinking that it wasn't very serious. And to be fair, at the time, it wasn't serious. because it sounded that ridiculous. To the point
Exactly.
where it wouldn't have been accepted because it sounds too stupid to come true.
But now people are too stupid to understand when we're not being serious about something. Like, I'm not even gonna fucking do the thing with my hand, but you know what people think the AOK symbol means now.
Right.
Oh, that's actually.
What you mean this?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, AOK is also a hand gesture and diving, and it's also very careful when you use this because some Crips might think that as a blood sign. It's a gang sign. Bloods.
Yeah, but they think of it as white supremacy.
Exactly.
And
they think it means white power. Because there were some people who were saying it as a joke, like, "Oh yeah, that's totally what it means." And of course, these leftist lunatics took it seriously, and now it has been applied. There have been people who have done this shit at work and have lost their jobs over flashing a fucking symbol because leftist lunatics took the whole "it means white power" seriously, even though it doesn't. And there was that other thing we used to do it for when we were kids, you know. Look down, there it is. Gotcha. Punch.
Gotcha, bitch.
Exactly.
So what's happened here is all these little things, these little aspects of life that we as kids remember are being taken out of complete context. And the problem is that these individuals, I'm talking about your libtard, snowflake, leftist, whatever you want to call them, they love going back in history. And they love nitpicking things and turning it into an entire big problem that wasn't a problem. Because a lot of times, a lot of these people, they don't go back to the past very often unless it's for some kind of political agenda. They love to look at slavery and say, look what they did to black people, completely ignoring the rest of history around the world where other peoples were enslaved. White people, Asians, Middle Eastern people. Nobody wants to talk about the Middle Eastern slave trade that saw a lot of Europeans, most of them white, by the way, being in a slave trade. Okay, they don't like to talk about that because it kind of shatters their narrative. That's why they won't discuss it. So they don't usually go back into the past unless they find some advantage that they can use, some use of leverage, right?
As long as it suits their sensibilities.
Right.
That's what they want. They want to use it, weaponize it, and they supposedly want to use it to change the future for the greater good, but really you're taking us the wrong way because there are also these, but it could be bad because when people try and pretend, oh, but that part never happened, they will try to ignore some of the real shady stuff because, oh, we don't want to talk about that hurts our sensitive tastes. We can't handle it. But if we don't know about it, you know what we're going to do, right? We're going to do it all over again.
Right.
It's like the old saying goes, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it.
You know, it's funny because there's a movie that came out recently called The Woman King. And it was about a tribe of African women that were warriors. And the movie has been praised to the heavens because it's showing strong, independent black women being badasses, basically. But the history, because it's based on real history, by the way.
Yeah.
But the real history is that those women, they were involved in slavery. Not that they were slaves themselves, but that they had slaves. Now, a few people started to look into the history of it, and suffice to say, the movie tanked. And it isn't the only movie to have tanked that has included this, the identity politics that we criticize so much. But it's a beautiful example of what happens when you use identity politics, and then when the ones that are using it, they get slapped in the face by it. You love to see it because then they're left in the public eye thinking, well, what are you going to do next? You've brought us this beautiful presentation about how white people are the scum of mankind. Oh, I can't say mankind because that's not being inclusive. People, right?
Oh, come on, leave the Trudeau jokes to me. Come on.
We like to say people kind, it's more inclusive.
Yes.
That's terrible, but I don't care.
Right. So you give this beautiful presentation, and then all of a sudden people start actually looking into what you're saying, and suddenly it's like, well, wait a minute, you sound a little bit hypocritical here. You're all about diversity and inclusion. Like, okay, Disney, for example. We know how many times have they been talking about Black Lives Matter, diversity and inclusion, all this BS, right? But they'll do the little things, like, say, shrink John Boyega's character in the Force Awakens poster for China.
Fuck China. Fuck China.
Or
Excuse me.
the Black Panther poster, where they literally covered up Chadwick Boseman's face with a Black Panther helmet only for China.
And on that, because, and I swear to God, if this happens, I'm buying a lottery ticket. With the Little Mermaid coming out, what is it, next year? Don't know, don't fucking
Probably,
care. But,
yeah, don't give two
craps. But they can, no matter how much they want to, how much these fucking simps in the media want to talk about how, oh, look how young black girls are so inspired by it. Oh, no, it's so good. They feel like they can look up to the Little Mermaid because she's black too. Oh. Well, guess what? She's going to be cut from the poster in China, so it could be distributed in China, and they can make a profit.
Or they could just blacken it out and be like a silhouette.
Or it could be like Marvel's The Eternals and not even show the movie in China.
That's true too, but I hate the argument, because this is also bullshit when people say that movies need to be distributed in China to be profitable now. Because Ghostbusters 2016, going back to this piece of shit, that was banned in China, right?
Good.
But you know what else was banned in China but still made $1 billion?
What?
Joker.
And
that was on. This was not something that these simps in the media or any fucking whiners on Twitter were talking about in a good way, because this was a movie they wanted us to not support because it was going to incite a violent incel uprising or some shit. And it was rated R, and it still made $1 billion. And it was banned in China, so it's your ideas are just not bringing in the money.
It's not, and I think that we're starting to see a turning of the tide, because we see many different projects that were being praised and heralded.
Like beer?
Things that are failing, or things that were in production and are now cut off, i.e. Batgirl.
Yep.
Featuring tokenized Batgirl. It's been cut, and the movie was almost done, too, from what I heard.
And let's be real here. If anyone was going to go see it, it was because the Keatster was in it. Like, that's it. That's like, because it's like they knew, like, no one's ever going to see us. Michael Keaton. I mean, nostalgia is like the hottest thing in the market right now. Can you be in our Batgirl movie that's probably going to suck? And we're and our success is just hoping that our success will be based on our identity politics obsession. Like, I mean, we got people that are of different ethnicities in the crew, but that probably won't be good enough because people don't care about that shit. So can you be in this movie and hopefully you'll make a quick buck? Yeah, sure. I'm Batman.
To be honest.
But it's not happening.
Okay, to be honest, though, they could take their identity politics and stick it, you know where the sun don't shine.
Yeah. Here's the problem. We can all laugh at everything that they're saying because it really is funny to hear them say.
It's a fucking riot.
At the same time, there's a lot of problems with what's happening because
the people who follow it.
Right. And the issue is that there's an attack on white people. I'm just going to come out and say it. Because every other article I read, every other news clip I hear on Twitter, or some idiot on Twitter, or social media in general, it's demonizing white people. I mean, just in our intro, classical music is racist. Now, again, this is one of those things where we laugh at it because it sounds completely ridiculous, yet there are people that believe that, and there are policies being made around the idea about white people and the sins that they have committed, as if nobody else has committed any of these sins. It's just when you're here in the West, where you have a government that isn't like China that will knock on your door when you say something bad about them, you can say a lot of things and pretty much get away with it. And of course, anytime a white person does anything, steps on a leaf the wrong way, or might have held a door for a lady, racist, sexist, doesn't like the environment, we need to go green, that type of crap. You know, anything that happens, it's immediately, oh, it's a white person problem. But let's say, for example, you have the bombings in London at the music concert festival. It was I believe it was a Muslim guy. It was it was an immigrant who got into the country illegally, and he bombed the concert. I don't remember what it was a concert about, but a lot of people died. And the thing is that the European nations have been letting migrants in droves, right? There's been a lot of unfiltered immigrants, migration coming in, and a lot of these people, I've seen the videos. There are people literally coming in on rafts and little boats from the water onto the shore, and they're just running into the public and just spreading out. Not knowing anywhere, we don't know where those people are going. I've seen so many articles of little girls.
Where is the Coast Guard?
I have seen articles of little girls, teenagers, even boys who were raped and murdered by these people. And for some of them, they were already caught for doing some illegal shite anyway. And they came back in. And it's heartbreaking for the families of those people, because you have someone who murdered your child. And you think, okay, they either get thrown in jail, they give a death sentence, or at the very least, they get kicked out of your country, never to return, yet here they come again. Now, this isn't exclusive to Europe. I'm just bringing up Europe because I have been following this for the past 2 to 3, actually, it's been more, past several years, where Europe has let a bunch of immigrants come in, and they say that, oh, they're refugees trying to escape war. Well, for some of the countries that these people are coming from, their countries are not at war. They're literally just coming into Europe just for some people. They're literally getting 5-star hotels, room service, money. They're getting the full royal treatment, and these people, they're not even escaping war. And look, here's an important feature about this. A lot of these people, they're not families. They're not women and children. A lot of them are young, fighting age men being let in. Ask yourself, what's that about? And ask yourself, it's a little suspicious, because if you have refugees, wouldn't you be seeing a lot more families trying to escape war? But they're not escaping war.
If that's happening in European countries, happening a bit too much up here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's always been that way ever since that fucking clown took over.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on the banning all the little guns, because letting a lot more people in, banning guns, and arming Ukraine.
Yeah. The Ukraine part is especially hilarious.
Can I?
Oh, hell, let's talk about COVID, right?
Oh God,
they were so the entire world was in lockdown, right? But yet we can still afford to let immigrants into our country that would technically be spreading the virus more. You see what I mean? It's a little suspicious, a little on the nose.
You can't go on vacation. Oh, you want to come into our country? Oh yeah, sure, come on in. No, you can't leave. No. Like, where do you think you're going? Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Also, can I say something about the immigration thing? Okay. Yeah. So, like, the only difference between illegal immigration or fleeing back in the day was for a fucking good reason, though. Like, let me give you a fucking example. Like Cuba, like when Fidel Castro's fucking ass was still alive and he was running that country.
Now someone's running mine.
Yeah, funny. or anyway, descendant. Anyway, families, people were escaping from communism. They were trying to get the fuck away from there to start over in America because they were tired of dealing with Castro's shit, though. Like having the fear of like sleeping in the middle of the night and then armed guards just barge in the door and they just take you out for no reason. And that was the real horror, though. But now you just have like people just coming over saying, there's war in our country, but we go over there. Where's the fucking war? It's like that John Travolta meme. Like, where's the fucking war? Where is it? Like, and then not to mention though that these immigrants that are coming over, there's a theory these are not fucking immigrants. They're fucking terrorists in disguise. It's a possibility.
It's very likely. And honestly, well, look, I already gave you an example of that where you literally had a bomber in the UK. He was an immigrant, but he came in here, and it was they call it Britain's 9/11, and I can understand why because a lot of people died. Okay. A lot of people died, and it was tragic that. And the thing is that it highlights an issue that's been an issue for several years, and you have people in the UK that are trying to fight this, but they're in a losing battle in many ways because they've let so many people in. And I read an article today where the ethnic population, like by percentage, okay, obviously with UK, Europe. You would think a lot of it is predominantly white, right? Well, it was. But because of all the immigrants that they've let in, and I've seen people on the BBC, and I know, the BBC, oh my God, these people. Okay.
These motherfucking twats.
You have people bragging about the fact that white people in many parts of the UK are now a minority by the statistical percentage. A country that was predominantly white, they're now a minority in certain areas of the country. Now, you remember? I don't know if any of you guys here have heard about some of the terms that supposed racists would use, like, "Oh, go back to your country," right?
Yeah.
Like they say, "Oh, white people tell black people to go back to Africa," and then you had other people that say, "Okay, fine, you European people in the United States, go back to Europe, to the UK and stuff." Well, now we can't because it's being taken over predominantly by other, ethnic groups. And I'm not saying that having other ethnic groups in your culture, in your country is bad. It's just what I'm noticing is that they want everything to be diverse.
Yeah. And that's how they choose to fill this quota. Like just like the whole open policy has always been a problem. Like, of course, obviously, like you just said, there's nothing inherently wrong with people who want to move into your country, but you gotta, there's always got to be some background checks. Like, this shit has to be done for safety, for everyone. And, for people who want to come into Canada, but they want to make an honest living, of course, come on in. But we just got to make sure you're squeaky clean.
We also have to make sure that these people are acclimatizing to our culture, not trying to change our culture. They need to integrate themselves into our culture.
Okay,
not trying to change the stuff. This is what I mean. Okay, we shouldn't have people from other countries coming into our country trying to change our country.
Exactly.
Because every individual country has their own values. I'll give you an example. There was the World Series for soccer in Qatar. And you had this guy come in. I forgot who he was, but he's big on Twitter or whatever. And he had a pride shirt. And they told him that when he got to the stadium, the people there, like the guards or whatever, said that he can't come in with that shirt on. And the guy made a huge, tweet about it, saying about diversity and being judged and all that stuff. But then one of the actual soccer players that was from Qatar, he literally tweeted back saying that he was glad that they did that because he said that the West is not the world's cultural representative, basically. That you can't come into our country with your values and expect to change us. That you should come into our country respecting our values in our country. And you know what? I was like, I agreed, but I also thought to myself, yeah, the same goes for you too. Because you have all these people preaching about diversity, and they want people here to change what is in our country. Look, you have the freedom in the West, for the most part, to do whatever you want. Your religion, your sexual orientation, and to the people that say that, they're the rebellion, right? That, they're fighting against the man, right? You can't be a rebellion when the very government that you would be rebelling against supports you. You literally have governments around the world that have your rainbow flag up at their embassies. You can't sit there and tell me that you're the rebellion.
No.
If anything, you are the empire. They support you. You are part of the empire. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Screw that.
No, you're not. Don't be sorry, because you're fucking right. Like, you are not. I mean, at this point, those who would wave a fucking Confederate flag are the rebellion.
Yeah, pretty much.
That has now been frowned upon by the establishment. Quiet, please. That is being frowned upon by the establishment media and the government and the whole Twitter mob. You can't, no, if anything, Confederacy. That's the rebellion now.
It would be.
But
the way that we're talking would be rebellion.
But again, these people are so ideologically driven. They always want to, but they're incapable of self-reflection, and they never want to accept that maybe they're in the wrong. So they always want to play well, if I'm in the rebellion, that makes me the good guy, right? Because Star Wars.
It
might be something like that. But again, when you have the backing of the rich and powerful elite that you want to tax, bullshit. Shut up, AOC. Tax yourself. But you're saying you're standing up against them, but when they show your support, then you just become the idiot, greedy consumer that you are.
See, here's the thing. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while, and it got me thinking about The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And I haven't read the book all the way through, shame on me, but from what I understand about warfare and the different kinds of warfare, I thought about this war on our culture, on our values, and there are many different aspects of which Western values and Western culture are being attacked. One of them is politically. That's a big one. But something that I criticize the Conservative Party for in many ways is their neglecting of pop culture. Because, like it or not, pop culture has influenced many different things. And in many ways, pop culture can inspire people to do things. And that's a very positive thing. When you have a... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but it can also shape us as individuals. Like we like what we like because of pop culture. From horror, Star Wars, Power Rangers, whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Culture and pop culture specifically has a lot of influence on people. It can bring people together, kind of like sports. But I look at pop culture as more important because with stories like Star Wars, like the original trilogy, the story of Luke Skywalker, you follow his story from the first film and going forward. You get inspired. Like the first movie, it's about a boy that's leaving his home world to get involved in a bigger universe and to get into something that's bigger than himself, to help free people. That can be pretty inspirational. And then you go through to the third film where he confronts the man that he knows to be one of the most evil men in the entire galaxy, who is his father. And yet, because of his training, because of his discipline, because of his character to want to save his friends and family, he looked at his only family, his only blood family he has left besides his sister. And despite all the evil that he had done, he was willing to put down his life just so that his father could come back to the light and leave the dark side behind. That can be a very inspirational story. Now, you take a look at what Disney's done to that same character. It's a complete 180. To say that it's a violation of Luke Skywalker is an understatement. But it highlights a bigger problem because a lot of these inspirational values are now being frowned upon. The idea of the nuclear family is being frowned upon.
Mhm.
It's then being replaced that, oh, we can have 2 mommies and 2 daddies raising a kid. Yeah, maybe, but this is the bottom line. And some of you might not like what I have to say about it, but you need to hear it anyway. You cannot act as if heterosexuality is not the default across the board. Why? Because, put simply in mathematical terms, if you don't have a man and a woman, and I know what men and women are, and they are different, and that's okay. Without men and women, you cannot, or male and female, you cannot continue a species. And it's not just humanity. It's animals too.
All living beings.
In general.
Male and female. They get together and they produce more. It's a very beautiful thing. It's also a very important thing because if you were to take, say, maybe 10 to 20 human beings and plant them on a desolate planet with no other life other than maybe animals, but they're the only humans there. If every single one of those people became that were homosexual and they decide, you know what, I'm not going to get with that other person. Or maybe if they were all the same sex couples, right?
Yeah.
Every one of those people will die without producing offspring. Now, obviously, they could say, oh, well, you can still, if you had 20 people that were mixed with men and women, they were all gay, you could still have the sperm donation. It's like you still need the male and female component. That's the point that these people are trying to get around.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to come up with alternatives. And I'm here thinking, dude, why are you making things so complicated? It's very fucking simple.
It's
men
nature.
and women create more babies, more people. It's
part of human nature.
And I guess surrogate mothers are no exception.
It still is ignoring the fact that you need a man and a woman to procreate, to create more people. You can't get around that fact. But you have people that want to say, they want to redefine men and women, for example. Like, you have people that want to separate sex from gender, that, okay, I'm biologically a male, but identify as a woman. That doesn't make any sense, and it complicates things. It needlessly complicates them.
It's like that shooter that was just recent, because, like, the whole, what was it, in Colorado or something? There was that big shooting that went on, and then the shooter came out as non-binary or something, and then once that happened, the media's just like, sweep that under the rug.
That was a separate incident, I think, Carter, but yeah.
The nightclub shooting. Yeah, I heard about that.
There was also another one. This was a bit of a smaller issue, but it was a gay club in New York, and somebody had basically broken or damaged the window of this gay club or bar. And some of the media was trying to spin it as a hate crime, but it turns out that the guy that did it, he was a gay. He was a gay guy. He was gay.
So maybe
and he said that he was trying to get revenge on the club for disrespecting his female friend or something. But the story just, gets swept under the rug because when it's gay on gay crime or black on black crime, nobody gives a shit. They don't care. If it's white on black crime or straight on gay, national headlines everywhere. You can't not see it.
Yeah, they'll just keep talking about it like they keep talking about January 6th.
Yeah, they can't get off of that. They
need to
say that it's worse than 9/11.
Bullshit.
Despite the fact that on the day that it happened, only one person died, and it was a protester. I saw the video. She got shot in the neck.
Yeah, and how many people died in 9/11? Like 3,000?
Yeah, 3,000. Not to mention
most
of them were in the Twin Towers. Not to mention some of them were workers, firefighters, and police officers. They fucking died. And you think that January 6th, like, only one motherfucker died, and you call that terrorism? Let me fucking ask you something. That was just one fucking death. 9/11 and fucking Pearl Harbor, those were fucking lots of deaths, though. Those were a lot, though. That ain't fucking nothing. That's just like another day in fucking Detroit or something. Excuse me.
Well,
Detroit.
here's the pretentious mentality. And yes, I call this mentality to be pretentious because this is what people, especially these media monkeys, are. This is why they keep pushing that. Everyone wants to be convinced. They want to just keep thinking they live in the most important time of all times, like the be all end all of all times. Well, suck it up, sister. You're not. We are not in the most important times ever, no matter how much you want to pretend you are, just because this incident that you want to call was an attack on democracy happened, a simple fucking protest at Capitol Hill but AOC had to go into therapy. Tough luck. Stay there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
also,
she could use it.
Let me ask you something. What the fuck was that video about them smashing the windows? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's fucking fake, though. It's probably a deep fake.
Who knows, man? But who really cares? Because the media hyped it up to the point where it's, again, giving more fuel to the fire that white people and Trump supporters. And look, I'm not even I used to be a Trump fan, but after he said some stupid shit, I'm like, nah, bro. Like, he said he's the father of the vaccine, the same vaccine that's been killing people. No,
nah, fuck
the same thing with the mask mandates, all that stuff, right? It ruined the planet, and it was on purpose too. Because when they started trying to shut down people's bank accounts because they were supporting truckers up in Canada, the GoFundMe shut down their fund. Okay, it gets to a point where, no, it's not about health. It's not about health at all.
It's authoritarianism. That's what it is.
Plain and simple. But people don't see it, and they think of it like, oh, you're just another Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. But you know what? You want to know something funny? It's very weird that a lot of what Alex Jones has said is coming true. And now I've been following Alex Jones for a very long time now. I've already seen this stuff. All right, I know about these things. So when everything happened the way it did, I wasn't surprised. It's like, yeah, I heard it. Alex Jones was talking about it, but everybody regarded him as that crazy conspiracy theorist, yet the shit's happening right in front of your face.
You know what really pisses me off since we brought up the trucker shit?
Mm-hmm.
It's the hypocrisy that has been surrounding a lot of it. Because we know what's going on in China, like the whole zero COVID policy, and people are like rising up against this authoritarianism. But what I really hate is that there are so many people here in Canada that are all like, oh yeah, good for the people for standing up to their authoritarianism government. Yeah, go China, yeah. But just a few months ago, they were tweeting #freedom convoy and talk about how bad the truckers are. But so yeah, it's always okay when it happens in a different country because there's less whites there. So now it's okay. And even with Trudeau, like even he's like saying, oh yeah, the people of China, they have the right to protest. Just as long as it's not here. It's one of those rules for thee, not for me.
Well, you know, he also praised China for their communist dictatorship. He literally said it.
That's the part that almost kind of surprised me a bit. I was actually hoping he would still say the same shit that he said about the truckers, like, it's a small fringe minority of people holding unacceptable views. I'm honestly surprised he didn't tweet his support for the leader of China. I am actually shocked by that, but at least then there'd be consistency. But that's not what he did. Now he's praising the people because, again, as long as he's not being protested against, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think it's also worse for him when it comes to the trucker stuff because you know who was in full support of the truckers? Pierre Poilievre, who is now the leader of the Conservative Party and hopefully our next prime minister.
I hope he wins, though. Or is it a she?
Pierre Poilievre, he's a dude.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay.
Real sharpshooter. Like even before he was the leader of the opposition, he was always like the one where it just seemed like sharpshooter. Nobody cared about Aaron O'Toole because he was a tool.
Yeah. You know, to be honest, though, it's a shame that nobody has marched to your Capitol Hill or whatever you fucking call it.
Parliament. House of Commons. Parliament. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame that nobody started the fucking riots, though. Trust me, if I was in Canada and I had to deal with that asshole, I would have done so.
We didn't have riots. We had the truckers.
Okay.
Yeah, that was their protest.
That's what it all was. Like, they were all over the fucking place. Like,
there are multiple forms of protest. Whereas on January 6th, people decided to march onto the capital of our country. The Canadian truckers were, I mean, we have to understand this, and this isn't just for Canada; it's also for anywhere and everywhere. That delivery truckers, the truck drivers, are very important to our society.
They are
because
essential workers.
Exactly.
Yes.
They deliver our gas for us. They deliver
Our
the gas.
food, our water. They
During the
Our
pandemic, they
our
were
mail.
the biggest heroes.
Exactly.
So when you have brave truckers that are like, we're tired of this COVID crap. Stop mandating us with these tyrannical mandates and such, but then they get called the bad guys. But wait, they were just the heroes.
They were. I mean, I told you guys already, like, I live like right off of one of the busier fucking streets. So like I remember waking up that morning, I look out the window and I'm just seeing truck after truck after truck. It's like, holy shit.
Can you imagine if it was a drinking game, you'd be passed out?
Well, yeah, I was just taking a shot for every sip of coffee.
Yeah.
Like it was 6 a.m.
Okay. Well, to be honest, though, you know what you should do? You should hang the Canadian flag upside down or fly it upside down because your country is in distress. So is ours.
Well, let me ask you this. Does the American flag replace the red and white stripes with the rainbow?
I've seen it.
Oh, I've seen that, though. But I have seen other flags, though.
Like
that are
real ones?
Yeah.
Pictures on. Oh, my God.
Well, let me put it this way.
Custom flags,
You have some Christian churches that they have their own Christian flags, right? And then they'll have some that have the rainbow flag to support their gay rights or whatever. It's kind of hilarious. I mean, it's like, well, God tells us to love all people. It's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't think I can love the people that are convincing kids to go into drag, which is a good segue into the next topic.
Oh, God.
Now, look, I'm going to give you some context here, guys. So a few weeks ago, I went to a protest here in my local town at a taco place. It's called Fajita Kings here in Temple, Texas. And what happened was Fajita Kings was hosting a drag show. Now, Texas isn't a stranger to drag shows. We had Drag Queen Storytime down in Austin, and it turns out that some of the people that were like some of the drag queens, they're also convicted sex offenders of minors.
What the fuck?
Who would have thought?
And the funny thing is that that's very consistent with a lot of these drag queens, that a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them are convicted sex offenders.
And child molesters.
They're being around children. Okay. So anyway, with Fajita Kings, they're hosting a drag show, and I caught some footage. I don't have it with me right now, but I shared some on social media. But there were some very disturbing things. And if any of you guys know about Steven Crowder, Steven Crowder, he has his own YouTube channel, louderwithcrowder.com. He had his team go to one of these drag shows in another area here in Texas. And there was a lot of the same thing I saw in that video I saw here in Texas, or here in Temple. And I wasn't surprised. It was really interesting to actually be there and to see these people. And one of the most disturbing things was that they were playing so you had protesters show up to protest the event. And you had people with megaphones there, talking their talk and saying what they were wanting to say. And then you had counter protesters that were on the side of Fajita Kings doing the whole drag show shit. And to drown out the protesting, they started playing music. But it wasn't just any old music. A lot of the songs they were playing were songs from kids' movies.
Disney movies.
Do you want to build a snowman? Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, or Hakuna Matata. It was getting disturbing.
Well, I was thinking of worse songs, like I Touch Myself.
Oh, God
that song that plays in Austin
honestly,
Powers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean...
to be honest, though... sorry.
Actually, I just want to bring it up. Like, was there something to talk about with that most recent drag queen story hour or whatever the fuck it was with, like, fucking SWAT teams defending it?
I actually saw that video, but I didn't understand the concept.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, there was like some drag queen story hour or some shit, and like Antifa was there or some shit.
Oh
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That was something else that I had seen. Not at this protest, funny enough. We didn't see any like guys armed or anything, but they did have a private security team surrounding Fajita Kings. Like it was like a private little security firm. It's like you motherfuckers are defending
pedophiles.
These people. They're fucking pedophiles.
Yeah, but
I want to show you this
with guns.
Yeah, go ahead.
That you want us to get rid of, unless we're protecting
you still have it, right? Yeah. See, rules for thee, not for me. Like you already said.
But even with that one, I was just talking about, like Alex Stein was there. You know who he is, right?
I've heard of him before.
He's hilarious. Like, there was this one leftist who was like kind of getting in his face, like he's filming himself. And he just kind of pushes this fucking guy away, and just down he goes. He didn't even push him that much. Just got piss off. Like,
And to be honest, though, Caleb, next drag protest you go to, let me know because I want to march down there.
Okay, I'll let you know.
And make
but
sure
I want to show you. I want to show you something, and this is when I talk about Western values and how things have just been going to shit. Basically, this is one of the examples. So there is a drag queen, and this drag queen is a little boy.
Oh God.
The drag queen, his name is Desmond is Amazing. And I saw, I mean, you saw Desmond some of amazing. Here, I'll just show you. So I just pulled up, you just Google his name, Desmond is Amazing. Okay. Right here, you got yourself a 11-year-old. Well, he's not 11 anymore, but I mean, I think that the pictures speak for themselves. Yeah. But this kid has been promoted as one of the premier drag kids, and they're pushing this on the children.
What the hell?
I'm trying to understand. Well, no, I understand exactly what it is. I just hope that other people can begin to understand that this is not normal.
No.
You want to talk about the destruction of Western society? We're going the way of Rome. And you know what they say? Rome did not fall in a day. It did not fall in a day. Because you start letting these little things come into your culture. Like, oh, okay, gay people getting married. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's like, okay, fine. Well, now we got drag queens. Now, drag queens aren't a new thing. Gay people, there's always been gay people. I have my own theories about these things. But my point is, you start letting the little things in. You start letting things that used to be, oh, whoa, what the hell are you trying to do? You let it slip. You give it a little pass. And eventually it starts growing. And to harken back to what I said earlier, back in 2012, when I'm seeing Ben Shapiro talk about things like this, and you have the ignorant college students that get on and they say they're BS, and we all laugh at it because it sounds so stupid. But look what's happening now. And it's not just this kid, okay? You have to understand that you have people, some of which are parents, that are advocating for their kids to be in drag, to get transgender gender reassignment surgery, to go on hormone blockers. Okay. There's a video
that there's a term for that.
There's a video. Yeah, there's a video that I want to find. And I'm gonna try and look for it. Okay, where you had, I gotta say this because this was it was like a 15-year-old girl, I think, who basically she found out a little too late that the whole transgender crap, not only was it irreversible, basically, but she lost her ability to be able to get pregnant. She lost her breasts because of the gender reassignment, hormone blockers. It's really, it's sad because it's not just her. You have kids going through this, and a lot of times it's just a phase. But you have these parents that will go the extra mile to make sure that the kids get into all of this.
And
they want this to be their fucking lives.
Yes, and when they find out that's not what they wanted the whole time, that the little boy doesn't want to be a girl, but it was just a phase, it's too late. It's too late.
But just to backpedal just a bit, like even when you were talking about how how it always starts off so little, like allowing gay marriages is like, okay, yeah, okay. But it goes back to the old give them an inch, they take a mile.
Okay. Hang on before we move on. Can you bring that back because I got to roast Desmond. Hold on, just go back up, all the way up to the top, on the.
What?
Ah shit, Danner. Oh crap, Danner's gone. Where are you? Go back up, right there. This picture right there. The what? No, fourth one. Next, that one. Okay, that picture. Oh my god, that's Desmond. Desmond is amazing. I'm sorry, Desmond is amazing. That's a crappy name though. It's like seriously, that's like something you like a Twitch streamer's name. And not to mention, I gotta roast this little kid. I know he's a kid and all, and he's like a little drag queen. But dude, if you don't take that makeup off and get your Michael Cera wannabe butt offline, I'm gonna whoop your ass like your parents should have.
Mind if I just lighten the tone for just one quick second for a cheap Family Guy reference here?
Yeah.
Because it just occurred to me. Remember that episode where Stewie was in drag?
Oh
and then he reveals himself?
Oh,
Desmond Sunflower, and I'm a boy who also happens to be a transvestite, which begins with the letter T.
Because the name Desmond, it's like, wait a second. Oh yeah, Family Guy.
Exactly.
Michael Cera looking ass bitch.
It's disturbing, and I'm gonna get this off the screen now because I'm done.
Yeah, get it.
I'm done. I'm done with that part. But
get out of here.
This is the problem with letting these little things in, right? And I mean, you already hit the nail on the head. Give them an inch, they take a mile, and it doesn't stop there. This is where we, as rational human beings, we as mankind. I'm going to keep using mankind because I want to sound like Lord of the Rings, Old English, right? I love that. But we got to stop this shit. We have to. We have to come together. We have to mock, shame, and eliminate this because the truth of the matter is there are a lot of pedophiles and human trafficking rings that are just thriving on this. There are a lot of sick individuals that are advocating for these things, and you would think that, okay, you know what, maybe this is just the college students that are doing this stuff, right? You have adults, you have parents, and that's the real gut punch. You have parents that are green lighting these things.
That was my kid. I'm not letting that shit fly. I'm sorry. Once you're 18 and you are considered adult and legal and you're out of my house, you could do that. But since you're under my
I wouldn't even encourage the stuff. When you tell your kid when you're 18, you can go out and do that if you want to. No, you don't let that happen in the first place. You explain to your child, get it through their heads. This is not okay. Because it's ruining our society. It's ruining it because you're turning a lot of kids into sterile people where they can't get pregnant or they can't get women pregnant. That's a big problem.
But even in the smaller scheme of things, like you already hit the grand scheme part, but it's not only ruining society, it's ruining the children's mental health.
Well,
that's the scary part. I mean, pushing kids into the shit. It's like, why? Why can't you just let kids be kids? I mean, when it came to dress up when I was growing up, I just dress up like superheroes or serial killers. Like a normal kid would.
Yeah.
Maybe not the serial killer part, but whenever I watched Scream, I would put the costume on. I was in my teenage years by then, okay? But if I was watching Power Rangers, I'd take my older brother's old Red Ranger outfit and put it on, pretending I was him. See, but I'm not going to watch some drag show on TV and say, I want to do that. No.
And here's the funny thing, right? you have other countries that are looking at all this stuff and they're criticizing us, and rightfully so. Like China, right? China recently has been doing a lot of push for their soldiers to get married and have children, and I think it was their Prime Minister Xi Jinping, or someone in government, basically criticizing the West for letting this stuff happen. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? You're partially responsible for this shit. Because think about it.
Fuck you. You're
China
responsible too.
has their hands in our entertainment industry. First of all,
big time.
They have their hands in the NBA, the NFL, especially the NBA though. John Cena, when he got on Twitter or whatever, and he was apologizing in Chinese for
because of a mispronunciation.
Yeah.
Ooh,
okay.
What a crime.
So I would bet money that they're involved with this stuff too, encouraging our people here to do these things. So when all these other countries are criticizing us, and I think that you guys are partially responsible for this destruction of the West. That's why you can't rely on anybody else but yourself to organize and to shut this shit down. Shut it down.
Blame China.
But there is something strange to be said about that when it comes to the entertainment industry part of things. Disney, like I said, they like every time when there's a new Disney project, there's always all these big ass headlines with whatever new Disney project came out, whether it be Marvel, Disney itself, Pixar, Star Wars. There's always going to be this whole, but this one features the very first. Take a shot for every time they say very first when it comes to this LGBT character or LGBT kiss or whatever. And like, and when you see it happen in the actual movies, like the media hypes the shit out of this. Like, oh my God, Star Wars Episode 9. Hang on, just one sec. The janitor at work was cleaning our lunchroom, was wearing a Rise of Skywalker shirt yesterday. And when I walked out, I'm just thinking, I couldn't help it. Like, look, you're allowed to like whatever movie you like, but I couldn't help it.
To be honest, though, if I was working there with you and I saw that shirt and with the janitor's back turn, I would have just said like.
But back to what I was saying though, like, oh, Star Wars Episode 9 is gonna have an LGBT scene. Like, do you think it's gonna be between any of the main characters? No, it happens between some affirmative action rebellion hire of a fucking captain or whatever. Who the fuck was that character's name? I don't know. And some pilots, like, they kiss, and my theater was laughing when that happened. Okay, people were laughing. It's like, where'd this come from? And why is it between these characters? And I'm sure people might have been disappointed it wasn't between Finn and Poe for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
But here's the question for those who care oh so much about LGBT representation. Do you care if it's in the movie just because, or do you care if it's between characters who you feel you can actually relate to? They just want it to be there just for the sake of being there. And that's the problem. But the reason why it's always cut so goddamn short in these Disney movies, like apparently there was something in Lightyear. I've only seen like a clip on social media or something, but it always lasts for like a fucking microsecond. And it is to get past the Chinese censors because you know how they are about that shit.
Oh yeah.
And like I said before, like I wrote that tweet, like the whole Disney's agenda for fucking representation, diversity, and inclusion is a lie. Yeah, the message, as the critical drinker would say. It's all a lie. It's all a marketing gimmick that they have commercialized the fucking shit out of to get your asses in the seats. So, like, for all you people who like to fucking cheer about this shit and slap your flippers together, like fucking whatever that guy's name was. But anyway, but these people don't go see it. They just tweet, they retweet, like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers says. They don't actually go see this shit. But
yeah,
everyone else who goes to see it, they will be turned off by this. And again, it's all minimal to get past the Chinese censors. And that's why it's always cut down. And it's not progress. It's not.
I mean, if you really break it down, promoting a lot of these things, it's actually regressing, if anything, because eventually, look, things always change in our society.
Yeah.
But with that said, one thing has always remained constant since this planet and life first started, however you believe it started, whether you're religious or scientific about it. One thing you can't deny is that we are all here because a man and a woman got together and had relations. You can't get past that, no matter how much, but gay people existed in the Bible days. It's like, that still doesn't change the fact that everybody is here because men and women got together at some point, whether it was a legitimate thing or if you were a bastard child, whichever way, the meeting of the opposites is what creates more people. And I think that's something that they can't get over. And they want to change that. That's why you get all this confusion with gender and sex being separate, that you can be a male biologically, but identify as a woman. What are you trying to do? Like, ask yourself the practicality of doing that. Because you have people that say there's an infinite number of genders. I'm thinking to myself, okay, why exactly is that even a thing? What is the function of it? What is it going to do for the rest of our society? How is it at all efficient for anything? What is its purpose? If your only purpose is to make you feel better, fine. In your private time, you can call yourself blah, 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 if that's your fucking gender. Okay, but the rest of the world isn't going to refer to you that way.
Nope.
They gender neutral pronouns. They, them. Oh yeah, they like to go to the bathroom a lot. Or them, I like them because they look like they're pretty cool. I mean, stop being fucking stupid and adolescent.
You're
it's
one
adolescent.
fucking person.
I'm pretty sure you're killing. Like, I'm pretty sure these pronouns. I'm pretty sure they're making grammar Nazis lose their shit, though.
Oh, the grammar Nazis are like, yeah, come on in. We want to be as inclusive as possible.
Like, oh god.
But
I'm like, no, because what's the point ultimately? Like, what exactly are you going to achieve by letting all this stuff happen?
The weaponization of victimhood.
The answer? Bullshit. It's nothing but all bullshit.
But like I was saying though, this diversity inclusion ship on Disney's part, I know I'm backtracking a bit.
It's okay.
That's not their top priority. That's just what they want you to think. Their top priority, really, it's the Chinese market.
Making money and selling the politics as much as possible. Follow the money. And, Disney, I'm not sure if that's working out for you anymore, at least for the time being, until you learn your fucking lesson. Because Strange World, really, did anyone know what the fuck that was until the weekend it got released? No,
I didn't.
Because, and now you're hearing like, oh, it has an LGBT leader or something. I don't know, and I don't even care. But it's like, I wonder why this wasn't being so hyped up in the marketing. You would think with Disney it would, but I bet you China was just kind of like, what you doing there?
To be honest, though, my question is, where in the hell is Walt when you need him? I know he's frozen, but they need to attach his head to a body. And he needs to get his shit back together, because I'm sorry, I can't deal with this shit anymore. Like, whatever happened to Disney, like the good old days? Disney was like the Wild West. Like, everybody was free and all. And next thing you know, you got these.
Wild West is pushing it. I don't think they're that wild.
Okay,
they marketed themselves as child friendly.
Yeah,
child friendly,
or
metaphorically.
Family friendly is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah,
because kids and adults can enjoy the good stuff.
Exactly. Yes. And now they're redoing their shit, though. Like, you're running out of source material. You're giving us crap, though. It's like a fucking McDonald's ice cream machine, though. It's working good, and then once it's later on that night, they say, oh, it stopped working properly. Like, bitch, that's what it is, though. Our new Disney is like a McDonald's ice cream machine that's always fucking broken.
Okay, let me ask you this, Danner, because I already asked Carter, and he said he hasn't seen it. Have you seen the trailer for the new indie film?
I did not. Because
let me put it to you this way.
I'm not going to see it.
Let me put it to you this way. The plot leaks and plot rumors looks like they were true.
What,
I mean,
bait
but then
and
again,
switch?
look, it's yet another franchise that they're gonna butcher, and obviously I'm not gonna pay money to go see it. I'm not.
Kathleen Kennedy,
We've already
sit the fuck down.
We've already made this very clear. I love to see it, and I also hate to see it because it's more proof once again that we're right about this stuff, and it's not like, oh, I'm right, give me a cookie type, like reward me for being right. It's like I hate being right about this shit.
Exactly.
I don't like the fact that all these franchises that I used to love as a child and as a young a teenager and such young adult, it's being butchered. I don't like seeing my favorite franchises go up in flames.
Oh, like Home Alone.
Yeah, but Home Alone was stupid for. It wasn't as much identity politics filled, but it was stupid. But
exactly.
Anyway.
Oh, are you talking about the new one?
Yeah.
The new one, the fourth and the fifth. Third one was okay.
Here's another one for you. So you guys are familiar with the Addams Family, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Netflix made a new series that Tim Burton did called Wednesday. It was a show focused on Wednesday Addams, and for the most part, I enjoyed it. The problem is that a lot of their dialogue was filled with identity politics, feminism, whitewashing, all these things. And look, I didn't have a problem with the actors that portrayed Morticia and
Gomez.
And Gomez. I know that some people were like, "Oh, it should have been Johnny Depp and Eva Green," and people were like, "Oh, they don't look anything like." It was like a improper casting. But if you guys remember the old Addams Family cartoons, like with the Scooby Doo gang and such, like Gomez, for example, he wasn't the most handsome looking guy. I didn't have a problem with the casting. My problem was with the dialogue, because there were several points in the show where some of the dialogue included things about patriarchy, whitewashing, and it took me. I'm like, why do you have to fucking say that? The rest of the show was fine. It wasn't the most groundbreaking thing, but I found it entertaining. I thought that Jenna Ortega, despite her stupid political BS, she did a good job with what she was given, in spite of the political things. I thought it was fine. I found it enjoyable, and it tickled my fancy on liking goth girls. It was fine. It's just the identity politics always takes me out of stuff, and I wish that it would stop. And eventually, that's the thing, it's going to stop eventually, because when these movie companies realize that it's no longer profitable to do so, they're going to turn a new leaf. But here's my thing. These people, I'm talking especially Disney and DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, these people do not give them the benefit of the doubt anymore, because they made it clear over the past 10 years they don't like you. They'll only come back to being in your good graces when they are trying to jump their sinking ship and get onto your fully functioning ship. Don't give them leniency. Let them go by the wayside and
let them drown.
Let them drown.
Or better yet, just let them be in the water and just shoot them.
But
no, let them drown. That's
no, let them drown. That's the
metaphor.
Classic
the point, yeah.
But even with Disney's Marvel, again, I've been checked out. I checked out our friends like Braden, Burton, Chris's. I watch their MCU ranking because you know what, they're having a good time. I'm going to watch this, but I just wanted to say something. What I'm starting to think what Marvel is, because it's obvious. It's quantity over quality now. Back in the day, you get 2 movies a year, that was the max for me. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
But now it's you got 3 movies and 2 fucking Disney Plus series or whatever, and now it's just Marvel. You know what you have become? You are the cinematic equivalent of fast food. You're not particularly good or good for us, but people are going to consume you anyway. Yeah. Even if you taste like shit. Burger King.
Wendy's. Whataburger.
Hey!
Fast food, my friends. It's only made one way.
It's junk, but I fucking love Wendy's.
Hey, we all have our junk food kicks. It's okay.
I mean, well, I had pizza tonight. Busted.
Hey, so did
pizza.
I.
Of course you do. As far as I know, you always have pizza on Fridays.
It's
as
kind
far
of
as
like a
I've
tradition. Like a tradition. Doing a live stream, even though it's not in front of me, I did have it tonight, so it was there. So, oh my God, that.
But even with the identity politics thing, like even now, it's kind of affected us in a way where it's hard to separate it, right?
You can't not look at it anymore. Anytime you watch something, or anytime you see one of your favorite celebrities say something, that's the really gut punch thing, is that your favorite celebrity, when they say something stupid, it's like you don't hear from them for like a whole bunch of like a long period of time. It's like, oh, I wonder what they're up to these days. You see they're on Twitter and make a post about identity politics, like, oh, social injustice, gay people, this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck. It's like the Witcher, when he's in the show, when he's like, fuck. Yeah.
And but even how it's kind of affected people on even the side of people who hate all this woke nonsense being pushed and everything, even they could be stupid, because there was that post that where someone was replying to what Jeremy tweeted about, hey, Rainbow Road's going to be in the new Mario movie, which, yeah, I'm fucking excited for that. I actually played Mario Kart after seeing that trailer because I'm hyped.
Yeah.
But someone's like, oh my God, the pride. It's
like, mother.
But here's
you uncultured swine.
But here's the thing, and I because I commented on that post.
Yeah.
The thing is that it shows what this new culture has done.
Exactly.
Because the rainbow was like, dude, the rainbow is in the Bible. It was a sign from God that he would never flood the earth, or he would never destroy the earth with water again. Okay, yeah. That in the Bible. That's what the rainbow represented. Okay, it's in there. Mm-hmm. And now the rainbow has been commandeered by this community. And anytime somebody sees a rainbow, whether they're of that community or not, they look at it and they say, "Oh, LGBT."
That's gay.
Yeah, and that is fucking terrible. That is absolutely terrible, because it kind of makes you think, huh? You remember when you were in pre-K and sometimes they would have those mats, and sometimes you see like the fun little drawings on there, right? And sometimes they'd have rainbows and sunshines and shit. It's like,
and pots of gold.
Yeah.
Rainbow, huh? Gay.
Mm-hmm. Well, or
wow.
You know what else you might look at, which is why I don't wear the shirt in June. My LJN shirt. And the fact that it says laughing, joking, numb nuts on it. Yeah, people would get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But I'm hoping that movie's good. I hope it's good. And just like Jeremy, I hope they don't go full on Peach Skywalker.
Oh God, it's too fucking late though. They've ruined it for everyone else though.
Let's not get there until we're actually there though. Like, I mean, I will say on one hand, Peach having leadership is not inherently a problem. Like, I get she's royalty. She has a kingdom full of mushroom people. But if they try and make her some strong warrior type, it's like, no, not quite.
No, she's supposed to be the fucking damsel in distress.
Even if they decide not to have her completely rescued by Mario, at least have her bake a cake at the end. At least give us that.
And I think they might do something, because I mean the Sonic movies were good.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and what? But we know what helped make those movies work.
The fans.
They listened to our outcry. We were like, "Whoa, what the fuck is that thing? That looks terrible.
Ugly
how hard is it to just make Sonic like he looks cartoony enough as is? Just make him look like he does in the games. That's all you have to do.
Just make it. Just do that.
Rather than the director going, "Oh, you're all just a bunch of fucking armchair neckbeards just whining in your mommy's basement." He's like, "All right, we hear you. Well, we have the time, we have the money. We'll do it. We'll do it." And it was a good business move on their part too, because one, the movie got good reviews, maybe not the best, but hey, people mainly liked that first movie, and it did well at the box office, and in return got a sequel, which was even better, and people are really excited for the third one. Like, if you saw the movie, have you seen the movie? Have you seen Sonic 2?
I have not.
I need to.
Well, Well,
It's okay.
there's-
Drop spoilers. I don't care.
Okay, mid-credit scene teasing Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hell yeah.
People in the theater, that's when they got up. Just yes.
You know, we
Back
lost
when we
our-
could get excited about movies, you know?
Yeah. especially with
Dr.
especially
Maverick.
especially the post-credit scene of the first movie where Tails actually appears.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
that was good though. Not to mention that
although-
was the last movie we saw when the BS pandemic happened.
Yeah, exactly. But even when Tails showed up, I couldn't help but think, did they have to redesign Tails as well?
I'm curious.
We may never know.
Can only imagine what the original Tails design looked like.
Oh, God.
Speaking of upcoming movies and dipping our toes back in the identity politics, we have ourselves a man who is responsible for quite a few great movies, who said some
dumb shit.
things. This article comes from boundingintocomics.com. Great website, by the way.
You're not the king of the world no more.
Avatar: The Way of Water director James Cameron claims testosterone is a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system.
That what a crock of scheisse.
Okay.
What the fuck is
good.
this?
I'll just. I don't know. And one of the aliens from Battlefield Earth, I'm guessing.
Not that movie. Don't remind me.
I'll remind you of it because I have a copy of it on VHS. So yeah,
Is it
maybe
Dumpster Time?
it is more than it's an easy contender. I have other movies that I have in my collection, which I'll be thinking about. Like when I got a list of movies, I'll make sure to send them to you because some of them are definitely worthy of the show. But
Hell yeah.
shit. Yeah, it looks like one of those fucking aliens. But god damn it. I lost my train of thought.
James Cameron. in a wide-ranging article from the Hollywood Reporter spotlighting Cameron in the film, which ironically doesn't get into many of the details of the film, Cameron discussed his working relationship with the Walt Disney Company, who is producing and distributing the film after they purchased 20th Century Fox. Cameron noted that he hasn't had any big clashes with any of the Disney executives. Maybe it's still a honeymoon phase. I don't know. We'll see. If the movie doesn't make money, then maybe the honeymoon's over.
End it right now.
Yeah.
Because
it's over.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say actually before we continue, but I said this before we went live. These comments from James Cameron, I do think is for the sake of job security, especially if you're working under Disney.
Yeah. Because let's be honest here, I don't think that
and it's just like the clip from the intro with Gina Carano. Like how they were trying to make her put her fucking pronouns in her fucking Twitter bio or some shit.
Or go before a committee of 45 activists to, and it's like, why would that's like it's a big setup, big freaking setup. But you know what? I mean, honestly, after how long has it been? It was 2009 when the original movie came out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like who was looking forward to this movie?
Not me.
Like how many people were like, yeah, I can't wait for the next Avatar movie. 10 plus years later, it's like, okay.
Well, you know it would be worse if we were getting the next Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, screw that! M. Night Shyamalan screwed that movie up.
I never saw the first one, and I don't plan on it.
That's the
I'm
only
saving
one
you a
that
bullet.
exists.
That's the only one that exists. Trust me, it sucks.
I bet. The director would then contrast it with his previous interactions with executives at 20th Century Fox from previous films that he now claims that he would not do given his age. A lot of things I did earlier I wouldn't do career-wise, and just risks that you take as a wild, testosterone-poised young man.
Poisoned.
He then added, poisoned. He then added, I think of testosterone as a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system. Testosterone is not a toxin that you need to work out of your system. Instead, as noted by the Mayo Clinic, it plays an important role in the development and maintenance of typical masculine physical characteristics, such as muscle mass and strength and growth of facial and body hair. Cameron's idea about testosterone might also be bleeding into Avatar: The Way of Water. What little Cameron did talk about the film with Hollywood Reporter, he revealed it will seemingly feature an asshole dad.
Wow.
He told the outlet, "I thought I'm going to work out a lot of my stuff artistically that I've gone through as a parent of 5 kids." That's interesting.
Really?
The overarching idea is the family is the fortress. It's our greatest weakness and our greatest strength. I thought I can write the hell out of this. I know what it has to be, the asshole dad.
What it is to be the asshole dad.
Sorry. I know what it is to be the asshole dad. What? This description of the movie contrasts a little bit with what actor Sam Worthington, who plays Jake Sully, had to say back in September. Speaking with Reuters, Worthington said, "This love story has evolved. We now have a family, and to be honest, to me, the movie is about protecting your family," which is a great fucking thing because we need a lot of family protection these days.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's an immediate family, it works on many levels. It could be a communal family, the family that we choose, he elaborated. Cameron previously told the Associated Press that the climate and health of the planet was on his mind while making the film and its sequels. Okay. Anyway, so
I think I know what was on his mind though.
But
weed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Testosterone.
Testosterone is a toxin. Okay,
that's fucking retarded.
That's stupid. Let me tell you something. Let me fucking tell you something. Why is testosterone so toxic? Let me ask you something. Who made your career? Who fucking made your career? Arnold Schwarzenegger, a big buff Austrian who came here, and if it wasn't for him, we would not. Terminator would have been fucking shit though, and it would not have been would have not kicked off your career, and it wouldn't kick off his career.
Well,
so the way I say it though, you should be grateful for testosterone. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be successful.
I mean, that's a non-argument, but I think the irony is about
fuck.
No, I mean the irony is about. I mean, it is. It's the freaking Terminator movies. I mean,
but not even just with the Terminator himself, though. I mean, look at Sarah Connor in fucking T2. She, not in the figurative sense of testosterone driven, but she might as well be. And I can say the same thing about Ellen Ripley in Alien. So you've basically taken these female leads and before the dark times that we're currently in now, they were almost, and just by appearance, almost like men in women's bodies. But that's just at face value because they were a lot deeper and more interesting than that.
And they were still very feminine at the end. Like, they did.
And they both had one thing that really made them very strong: their maternal instinct.
Exactly.
It was motherhood that made those characters so strong in those movies.
Something that, again, another thing that's going on with our culture is that it's being frowned upon. That, you shouldn't be having any more kids. Like, dude, like fucking Bill Gates. Okay, you should listen to some of the shit that goes through that bastard's mouth, talking about, because look, there is a depopulation agenda. You guys know about the Georgia Guidestones. The stones where it has like guidelines for basically how to have the world run for all intents and purposes. Well, one of the features on the stones is that the population should not rise above, I believe they said 500 million. Now, if you consider that there are 6 billion people on this planet, and these Georgia Guidestones say 500 million. And then you think about the fact that they want to get all these people vaxxed up, right? Get your boosters. And there are reports coming out about these jabs killing people. Look it up for yourself.
Yep.
And then you have TED Talks, and there was a particular TED Talk where Bill Gates was talking about increasing the health of the individual or the health of something to reduce the family. Something along those lines. It was something very fucking weird. And what's even more disturbing is the fact that when he said this shit, nobody in the audience said anything back. They just sat there and listened. Nobody threw a shoe at his face.
Right,
Nobody
Bush.
protested it. It's the same thing that happened, again, at another TED Talk, where you literally had this woman advocating for pedophilia. Nobody got on the stage and bitch slapped her Will Smith style. Nobody. They just let her say, "Oh yeah, it's okay to have pedophiles." That it's a legit form of sexuality. They said.
Okay,
And nobody said
That
anything.
makes my blood boil.
It should. It very well should, because a lot of these things are being advocated and accepted in certain parts of the world, and yet nobody's batting an eye. They don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, I want my kid to be drag queen. I want my kid to be sterile to where they can't get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Fuck the family, right? That's what they say. They screw the family, screw the nuclear family. We don't need it. That's old way of thinking. It's like, you know what?
Screw Western values.
It's what I like to call old reliable. When you boil it down, you take away the social media, take away the political bullshit that our culture has created for itself. You go back to bare basic necessities and needs for survival. You're going to want to procreate. Having a big family and getting together with like-minded people to survive in a harsh and unforgiving world, having the strength in numbers is very important. And eventually people will remember that, because eventually this little culture that's been created is going to die off, because it's already dying off. With all the cancellations of these different projects and with certain companies starting to backpedal on certain things, this shit show isn't going to last too much longer. We're still in the forest. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I think.
We kind of are. I mean, I'm not going to say this is a good part, because this guy's an idiot too, because what did Disney just do recently? Didn't they just fire their CEO in the middle? Yeah. And they bring back in Bob Iger.
They fire Bob Chapek, and they bring back the guy that was the progenitor of all the bullshit in the first place. That's the thing. A lot of the bullshit that we got today from Disney, Bob Iger greenlighted that shit. So they're kicking out that little sorry sap, because, you know, the whole "so don't say gay" bill crap, right?
Yeah.
Bob Chapek got on that Zoom call or whatever, and he groveled. He fucking groveled. It must have been very embarrassing as a man to just like, you know, I'm with you. I know I haven't done my part, but I stand with the LGBT plus community. It's like, you know what? You can take the LGBT community as an organization and all the fucking idiots that advocate for all the dangerous things that you're doing to our families, and you can shove it up your ass. That's what I say, because, you know, your relevance is going to fade away, and I can't wait to see it. I'll be sitting back with a drink, just like, yep, bye. You know, at least that's my my vision.
That's something that's happened, but I wouldn't say it's a complete turnaround. But even with Warner Brothers, I mean, they seem like they're really like, God, we gotta turn this around, because we're not doing so well. I mean, they bring back Henry Cavill as Superman. I mean, and that's just a little thing that they've done so far. And I mean, I do want to see him play Superman. I thought he was great.
I liked him.
But again, when you're giving the fans what they want to see, that's where the money is. But according to a lot of people out there, we're just bad people. I mean, there are filmmakers, or were filmmakers, that have made among some of the worst movies ever made. Like, for instance, go check out the last episode of Dangerous Dumpster and you'll know. But seriously, Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher, when that movie came out and it got bashed, what did he do? He basically owned up to it. Like, yeah, I made a bad movie and I'm sorry.
But you didn't call people toxic, you know?
No.
But people, if he was
open-minded. He was a very open-minded guy.
Yeah.
If that were to happen today, then, you know, toxic fans this. I mean, look, the backlash, for example, for Rings of Power, you know, I think that the not the LGBT, but might as well, because they love promoting this shit. The diversity and inclusion, but they promoted the hell out of the Rings of Power. Yeah. And I think they messed the wrong community, because Tolkien and his works have been around for a lot longer than a lot of these franchises, and it had a lot of fans, and a lot of fans didn't like what they were doing. Not just fans of the movies, but fans of the books.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't like it, and look what happened. The show. I mean, just the ratings, like the like to dislike ratio, the comment sections on the YouTube trailers. I mean, it was bad. It was bad
Yeah.
for them.
Can I also say something? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
but
say
apart
it.
with the whole controversy thing, though, you know, like Joel Schumacher said, like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that shit." Though a lot of things that, okay, to be honest, though, I think the real victim of Warner Brothers is fucking Johnny Depp. Now, let me fucking say why, though. Like, it was so hypocritical. Like, they were so hypocritical. Like you know, the trial of Depp versus Turd. Yeah. So basically, it's not fair that like to be honest, though, I saw Secrets of Dumbledore, and to be honest, though, Matt Milkinson, okay, great actor and all, but you should just stick to being a Bond villain, just eating people, okay? Johnny Depp was made for Grindelwald, and just to shoot that movie, just to fucking shoot that movie with the whole bullshit going on, and just replace him. No, that's stupid. Like, to be honest, though, like, it's that fucking stupid. You know how stupid that is? That's like getting I need a good character a good character, like, let's just say an actor that was made for a certain character only to replace him, though, except for James Bond, though, because that's fucking different, though. And it's just really fucking stupid, though, that Johnny Depp gets fired and Turd still has a job there, but then once the jury agrees that Johnny Depp was innocent and Amber Turd was a fucking liar. No. Here's what they should have done. Here's what they should have done, though. They should have brought Johnny Depp back, compensated him for firing him. Actually, they should not compensate him. Fucking give him the studio. Give him a portion of the fucking studio with them on their knees, kissing his fucking ass and apologizing.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And let me
Like
tell you,
that is the biggest pipe dream you could have. They're not gonna do that.
No.
Johnny Depp is just one little fish in a big freaking ocean full of other fish and giant whales, sharks. You get what I'm saying.
Well, you know, speaking of Johnny Depp and fish, kind of, when we were talking about things starting to turn around, we forgot to mention that other movie that got canceled. The Pirates movie with Margot Robbie.
Like, that was going to happen. I mean,
Hell
what exactly
fucking no.
was the mentality behind it?
Who was even going to see that? I mean, if
Not
you want to
me.
watch, seriously, folks, if you want to watch an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean movie, just go to Pornhub. Because that's where it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, who's going to take it seriously? It's like, when I think of Margot Robbie, all I can think about is freaking Harley Quinn. And in the movies that she was in, they weren't good movies.
Well, two of them weren't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot the new Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. That one was the only one with her that I actually liked, because Suicide Squad. I mean, before Giraffes, I always voiced my hatred of that movie. So fucking bad.
It was terrible.
And Birds of Prey was just
shit.
What am I watching?
And the emancipation of one, whatever the flip.
Who
Harley
cares? It was just Birds of Prey or Harley Quinn the movie. But even that shit as just like everything that happened with that movie is just another hilarious stamp on the entertainment industry. Because remember, this movie came out 1 week before the Sonic movie. You know, a movie that actually listened to the criticism that was being brought forth before the movie was even out. And Birds of Prey was not doing well at the box office because, one, it sucked, but but all the Twitter bots said, "Oh, Sonic was a racist and homophobic movie. Go see Birds of Prey." It's like
racist and homophobic. Bitch,
Where? It's about
Where?
a hedgehog collecting rings and fighting against an evil mustache man. What the hell is the racism?
And the movie wasn't even out yet. Like, that was like the most hilarious attempt at trying to sabotage another movie while promoting a crap movie. And I've seen other hilarious tweets about that one too, where there was this one tweet where it was just identity politics obsession galore, where it's like, reasons to go see Birds of Prey. It was directed by a woman. It was written by a woman. It has an Asian cinematographer. It stars women. What about the movie?
Is there
a movie any good? Answer?
Yeah.
No.
The answer? No, it's not. It's in the words of Dwayne Johnson. It's the biggest piece of dog crap.
No, the how it should have ended was better than Birds of Prey.
Exactly.
Like seriously, I still laugh at the part where Harley Quinn's like, "Cause I'm Harley, fucking no, because of Batman."
So, if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that you should, as a people, we should appreciate the freedoms that we have, because there are a lot of instances right now where if we didn't have, say, like our freedom of speech, be able to say certain things that, I mean, it's already bad enough because obviously with the biggest thing with the firing of Gina Carano, it told us a lot about free speech in a certain industry. So just be grateful and be thankful that you can still say what you want. And I mean, the only backlash you face is online, but as you guys already know, social media online, it's not real life.
No, exactly. But who gets more backlash anymore? The entertainment industry or the fans?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's the fans, really, because
Exactly. Now, I do want to bring this up because I'm sure Carter was just waiting for me to bring it up. You know who loved his fans?
Him.
He did. Jason David Frank. We did not deserve him because he was a guy, like, he held the fans in high regard. And yes, a bit of a tribute to the guy because that was a tough pill to swallow for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Even though I'm mentally crying, I just can't physically shed a tear. I just don't know why.
Because you're trying to hold your composure.
No, it's just that I want to cry, but it's not letting me.
Like I said, you're trying to hold your composure.
That's exactly what it is. But let me tell you something. And I wrote about it. I was making posts about it because when I say he was the best person I've ever met at a convention, I'm not exaggerating. Like,
yeah, he was the coolest guy ever.
Oh yeah, like so interactive with his fans. Like he looked at him like, hey, like he was the kind of guy who would say, "I wouldn't be here were it not for you." That's who he was. And like my interactions with him were just like
brief.
Like even when I think about him, it was overwhelming. Like I get him to sign my box of Power Ranger shot glasses. And he makes a scene about it, and it was just hilarious. Like,
wait, what was the scene about?
He holds up the box of shot glasses, saying, "Everyone, there are Power Ranger shot glasses."
You know what's funny? I actually have the Green Ranger shot glass. I got this from Spencer's.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because Carter actually made JDF a gift. It was like a keepsake box.
Yes, I did. So let me tell you a story about it. Okay. So this was in 2014, and this is when I've known Caleb for a while, though. And he invited me to go to Austin Wizard World Comic Con, my very first convention, my very fucking first convention. And by the time, before I met JDF, though, like originally I grew up with Power Rangers for a little bit, and then I just fell out of it. And then just growing up, I sort of got back into it, and thus.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and then. When I met him, like before I met him, I made like this wooden box. I didn't make the box. It was a wooden box that I actually painted. It was painted green, and I painted the Dragon Zord symbol. Like I painted the power like this on the top of the box, and I painted the word and I painted the Japanese symbol for dragon in the box for JDF with my initials on it. But unfortunately, I didn't have like a little silk pillow to put in there. But when I met him, it was amazing. It was so amazing. I gave him the box and I said, "This will be something perfect to hold your green power coin." And he was nice about it. I met him the next con. I think it was like a year later. This is with him and him holding his Bat in the Sun Green Ranger versus Ryu helmet. Yeah, you can't tell because of the reflection, but.
No, I could see me in that reflection.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, if
you get the picture closer to the camera, we can see it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's the helmet, but you can't tell because it's a little.
Because it was a darker shade of green too.
Yeah, it was a darker shade of green, but with a little bit of metallic silver and stuff. But I just can't not to. I met him a few times though, and to be honest though, I know that it's not relevant to the war and pop culture, but it's related to what Spooky Clutter was working on. He's working on a comic book He's working on a comic book, and not knowing how this fucking hit me, like it just hit me like a freight train. Just knowing this, because I swear to God, I thought this was like I woke up, I saw this, and I thought it was like a crude fucking joke, and then a few hours later, it just they fucking confirmed it, and it's just like it was like the moment like when time stopped, like everything is just like frozen in place. I just wanted to scream my fucking lungs out because of how fucking angry, confused, and scared I was. And I just it just really it tore me up though. Like we lost a lot of people this year. I mean, Angela Lansbury, Coolio, Ruby Coltrane, Kevin Conroy. Like Kevin Conroy and Angela Lansbury and Robbie Coltrane, they were our fucking childhoods though. Mrs. Potts, Hagrid, Batman, and now you're going after. Now you went after Tommy. It hit me right in the.
I find it funny that a lot of the people that have died recently have all been '90s icons.
That is a strange, but
now look here's my thing, right? Because I look at things differently in many ways. Like when I hear about celebrity deaths, especially these days with their Cervasis, I'm always suspicious about these things.
I know. It's hard not to. It's kind of like the identity politics thing. It's hard not to think about it anymore.
Because it's real. It's no longer just theories. Because they always say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy." You're just a conspiracy theorist. So that motherfucker, things are happening that were once theory that are now true, that are confirmed to have been happening. So anytime there's always a celebrity death, I'm always very suspicious, and that's why I'm thinking to myself, suicide. Like, I mean, look, I don't know the guy personally. I could be wrong. Maybe he really did commit suicide. It's just I find it very suspicious that there's a pattern that's developed that a lot of '90s icons are dropping dead.
Wow. Well, even like my buddy at work even said it's always in threes. So he was even saying like there's got to be another one coming soon.
Damn it! Like, I wish it wasn't first though.
From Conroy to Frank, who's next?
Well, I mean, I considered Hagrid really as the first,
but Harry Potter didn't start till the early 2000s.
Well, it was
that's what a lot of people really know him for.
Yeah.
But also, anyway, like I was saying though, on Spooky Floater's comic was that after his comic would have been successful, I wanted to do like a audio narration, or I wouldn't say like an audio narration, but I wanted to do like a audio
voiceover, basically
a voiceover. I wanted Jason David Frank to voice a character in his book though that was basically an interpretation of me though. I wanted him to do that. He was my first choice. I wanted him to be the voice. Like that would have been so fucking cool to have your fucking childhood icon voicing your work. Like, and now it's just like a tough pill to swallow. It's like
I don't know if you noticed, but you can actually see the Green Ranger helmet right here.
I can see it in the corner.
I can see it in the corner too. Not to mention though, I did a few days ago. I did get the Green Ranger tree ornament. I do have a tree, but you can't see it because my angle's fucked up. But he's actually next to a green light, a white light, and a red light. And he's actually on top of my tree. I put him on top of my tree because he's watching down on me. He's watching over me.
But
and I just can't accept the fact that he's gone though. It's just like you want to cry, but you were showing so much composure. You just want to fucking let it all out though.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know how that feels. I really can't do it in front of other people anymore. Even when it's a loved one, I can't do it. But But here's the thing with Jason David Frank that I also wanted to address. What else made him so great? You pay for an autograph and he gives you an additional free one. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I got him to sign the shot glasses, and in my little Riddler, Power Riddler, Riddle Ranger, whatever cosplay I was doing, I had the Dragon Dagger, the same one you're holding. He signed it, like for free, and I was kind of doing the whole, oh man, you don't need to do that. He's like, you can't pass on a free autograph, could you? And I've kept it in the box ever since because I have the Hasbro one, which is the one I use as a prop. Because I've said it before, Bandai's is better as a collector piece. Hasbro better for a prop if you want to do cosplay and shit.
Right.
But here's the other thing. Eve took this video at that same convention that unfortunately was only in stories, which I really wish I could unearth because, well, that's where it hit me. Because my best friend seen in that photo with us, I lost him a couple years ago.
Right.
And there was this video he took where because he's wearing a Super Nintendo shirt with like the buttons on it.
Mhm.
And Jason David Frank's taking the video. What's this button do? What's this button do? What's this button do? It's like, I wish I could find that.
Maybe one day you will.
Yeah.
Don't lose
Hopefully.
hope. Don't lose hope.
Yeah, and
I'll try not to.
yeah, and it's just that very sad though. Not to mention though that in the future, I think I'm just gonna make a I'm gonna make a Jason David Frank shrine. I'm gonna make a shrine though, and that's not creepy. That's always the way of remembering your fans though. It's not creepy.
And also the picture, it's way in the background, but it's right there on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a lot of stuff. Like I just have a few. I have a few Power Ranger stuff. I have. I just need to make a shrine though.
But you know what? I wanna touch on this as we wrap up. For those watching, understand the testimony that my two co-hosts gave because it shows just what an impact even one person in the pop culture industry had on them, right? And why you should take your pop culture seriously. And I want to go back to something that I said earlier in the show that I have one of my biggest critiques of the Conservative Party is that they didn't take pop culture seriously and they let pop culture get taken over by a bunch of idiots that don't care about the pop culture. When you have actors that care about their fans to the point where you get free autographs, I mean, not everybody does that, but you get people that are dedicated enough that they respect their own fans. Like, you know what? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have food on my table. That is something to take to heart, and that's why you should care about the culture that you consume because it matters. Because it can inspire you to do great things. It can inspire you to make your own pop culture and to honor the things that have come before and making something new at the same time. Take it seriously. Don't reduce your don't lower your standards on your culture just because, consume product. Take the shit seriously. Get serious about it. If you have a mind for creation, if you have a story that you want to tell, get out there and do it. Right now is the ripe opportunity to do it because the culture it's going to change. The pendulum always swings back in the other direction. So now is the time to get on it. Inspire yourself. Be inspired by the people you meet, by your heroes, and go forward and be awesome. That's the best advice that I can give. That's what I'm doing right now. Do it.
But even like you were saying, like why it should be taken so seriously is because especially when you get exposed to this shit at a young age, like especially with something like Power Rangers or Star Wars or something, that is going to shape who you are if you're really into that. You develop a passion from this shit.
Right.
And that's why you should not allow it to be hijacked by people who just don't give a damn. They just want to use it to make money and push their ideas that are more damaging to our society than anything else. And the fact that, like you said, the conservatives who just kind of sat by and let it happen because one of the biggest problems with the conservatives is, well, they're condescending. They think they're better.
Because they think that, okay, well, you know what? We have the logic on our side, right? We have all the facts. But you know what? A lot of these idiots, they don't care about the truth. They don't. So you need to attack. You need to associate yourself with everything that you can. Because that's what these people did. Because it starts with the culture. Because when you really boil it down, what are some of the things that unite people, get people together? Sports, entertainment,
pop
religion,
culture.
Particularly, and I want to focus specifically on pop culture because guess what? aside from religion and sports, pop culture is something that we can all get together and talk about. Hell, we've done it how many times on this channel, on other people's channels? We got together because we had a love for a particular movie or a particular character. And we relate to each other in that, and then we become friends, and then we share other things with each other. So it starts with the pop culture, or it starts with the culture, and then it spreads out from there. And the fact that a lot of the conservative party, wherever you are, the fact that they neglected it, and now we're here because they neglected it. They let an entire political ideology rule the roost. This is where we are, which is why it's more important than ever to fight for it.
Exactly.
That's the big takeaway. Fight for what you love, because it's worth it in the end.
Always.
So, with that all being said, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Kyle and Mother Molder, part of the Dark Ether Files Patreon. Thank you to the King of the Nation for tuning in, and whoever else tuned in tonight, whoever else is watching, even after the fact. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this long. And, our saying, our famous little saying, it really is more important than ever, because the truth of the matter is that despite all the bullshit that is out there in the world, with all the disgusting culture that has been created, there is good stuff out there. There's good stuff in development right now. Hell, right there, Isom from Eric July. One of Eric July's characters right there. Okay? The comic book and the poster. Isom. Go support Eric July. So, as we always leave here on the entire channel, the shows, the episodes, all of it, take it to heart. Don't give up on hope, because the entertainment is out there.
I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
Special Agent Dr. Richtofen. And until next time, fellow investigators, remember.
The entertainment
is out there.